Okay.
Uh,
Okay, the question was, how do you handle uncertainties and unexpected disturbance in supply chain while maintaining an accurate forecast?
yeah, yeah. So we were discussing. So I was talking about once you have the collaboration with the team, and then you run different scenarios you can run, and eventually that scenarios can be presented to the leadership team. And once you have the final decision, then we as a forecasting team, we adjust the rolling forecast. So rolling forecast is updated. So I was talking about how we work to update this rolling forecast. So 4 weeks of the month can be divided. So first week we spend in analyzing how the sales have been in the past month. Once we have that updated data, okay, what's happening, what's going wrong, what went well, what is at risk. So once we have that information, in the second week we update the rolling forecast. We update the forecast with the recent inputs, recent happenings into the market. So though that updation is what happens into the rolling forecast, and once that is updated, we communicate that to the demand planner
Mhm.
and discuss with them, and we come to a final number. Okay, this is what we plan. And along with this, so along with collaboration, scenario planning, taking final decision, updating the rolling forecast, there are some new ways also. So ERP tools these days have something called as demand sensing.
Mhm.
So demand sensing is something where uh, we closely monitor the real-time data with the market signals, how the customer orders are, the inventory trends, or directly the point of sales at the store.
Mhm.
So with this real-time data also, uh, we we have the data or the signals in little bit in advance
Mhm.
about the disruptions, about the uncertainty, how it is going to unfold. Some information uh, do come in advance, and this really help to improve the short term forecast accuracy with having the real time data about customer orders, sales, the weather patterns, the promotions, the market signals. So those changes
Mhm.
in the demand is detected real quick. So in the ERP tools, we have this functionality these days which is called as demand sensing, where any changes, the impact of this disruptions or uncertainty can also be traced or sensed in advance, and things can be planned, and it's communicated to the supply chain function. That's there from the demand forecasting perspective, and of course from company's perspective, then there can be from supply chain perspective, there can be other ways also to handle such disruption, like for from a supplier perspective, having a multiple supplier, having the right safety stock. So these kind of steps can also be taken to handle the uncertainty and disruption in the supply chain.
What advice would you give students entering the supply chain field?
Yeah, supply chain uh, have become really interesting,
Mhm.
and I see students taking more and more to the supply chain. Back then, 7 8 years back, when I got into supply chain, at least in India, there was not much awareness about supply chain. So supply chain means logistics. So you are into trucks. That's what everyone would think. And sometimes it would be embarrassing also to introduce yourself as a supply chain professional to your extended friend circle, relatives. My father is still worried about me. Okay, why I'm into trucks after doing engineering, mechanical engineering. So that was the time back then. But again, this era of after the COVID, the companies really started valuing the supply chain as a function.
Mhm.
They started seeing value in supply chain, and supply chain is now part of important decision making of the company, deciding and taking important decision about the business. So the supply chain have become a really a valuable function And also from a student's point of view, it's a good opportunity. So if you have taken decision to get into supply chain, so first of all, congratulations, welcome to the team. And about what you should work upon. So first is invest early in data science and
Mhm.
AI skill. That would be really important. By the time you would be into the real world and get into supply chain roles, you will definitely see AI and data science coming into supply chain function and being an important pillar. So earlier, I have seen in the past there would be one data analyst in supply chain that would give support to full supply chain. He is into inventory, procurement. He is supporting everyone. But now I see there is a different team. There is a different function, a different vertical altogether about supply chain analytics in big MNCs. So I see very rapidly growing the data science and the AI part of supply chain. So being a supply chain professional, sometimes we are not from that background.
Mhm.
We don't like so much about coding, the science, the maths. So it's too much for me.
Mhm.
But it would be better as a if you want to get into supply chain earlier. You start investing, so it might be slowly. So bit by bit, you can start building, develop some. You can maybe start with advanced Excel,
Mhm.
uh, then maybe get into Power BI, generating different reports, handling big data, and eventually then you come to something like Python, uh, developing models to take some decisions, finding out optimal cost, optimal route for some supply chain network problems. So these kind of problems should also be part of your learning. That is first. Second is one should also prioritize to get into different industries,
Mhm.
exposure to different industries. So, like I already talked before, there are different industries like chemical, automotive, semiconductors, paints. So, to try to get into different businesses and industries and have a wide exposure. That's first. Secondly, in terms of wide exposure, have a wide exposure in terms of different functions also. So as I was answering for my first question, why I choose supply chain,
Mhm.
one major reason was that I have to interact with different functions, and that you are in center of attraction, center of stage. So being in that role, you need to understand, okay, what's the pain point of finance, why they are coming to you, what's the pain point of manufacturing, what
Mhm.
they want, what the pain point of logistics. So you need to know and understand, okay, what their shoes feel like, what is a sales guy looking for. So even me as a professional, my first year of my career was into a cross-functional trainee,
Mhm.
and I moved into different functions, and what I learned there is still helpful for me. So
Mhm.
when I'm in a meeting, I know uh, when a sales guy says something, or when a procurement guy says something, I know from where he's coming from,
Mhm.
and I can understand the deep-rooted reason why he tend to take decision a certain way. So that helps me understand them, understand their problems, and give the right solution, take the right decision. So this is something would be very important as a supply chain professional,
Mhm.
to have exposure to different functions, functions of the industry, different function of the business, starting with marketing, product development, finance, sales. So one should know everything. Okay, what's happening there, what's their lookout, and what's their KPIs. So it's easier, because supply chain would be about a lot of trade-offs. So
Mhm.
when you are taking certain decision, there would be always a trade-off. Like for example, if I have to build the safety stock, right? So investing in safety stock will make my customer service department really happy, because customer always have what they want.
Yeah.
But that would certainly make my finance team unhappy, because their cash flow is blocked. So it's always a trade-off. So you can't make everyone happy. Yeah, if you have to make everyone happy, the best professional is selling ice creams.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the supply chain. The supply chain, you'll always be, nobody is going to like you, in a way, because you always, in certain decision, you have to make everyone, somebody unhappy, somebody less happy. You have
Mm-hmm.
to balance everyone, and to do that, you need to know, okay, what their shoes feel like, what their hat having their hat feels like. So this is second most important advice I would give. And lastly is developing the communication skill.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes as a supply chain professional, we are too much into the business knowledge, or about, okay, supply chain, my inventory, my formula of stock. So much into those things. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, after being getting into the role of supply chain, and you become a leader
Mm-hmm.
into your function, be it procurement, demand planning, logistics. Eventually, as I mentioned, you have to communicate with other functions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to manage conflicts. You need to communicate clearly about your decision to the other teams. You have to influence stakeholders to take the right decision from supply chain perspective or from data perspective. So for that, one needs to have good communication. Unless one can communicate uh, well, and shouting louder shouldn't be the only resort that is with you. Okay, one should be able to should put his point precisely, eloquently, articulate his words, give this right story behind the data, okay, and connect it with the the company's mission, vision, uh, the business idea. So one needs to have that communication skill. So you might be right from a supply chain perspective, but unless you
Mm-hmm.
can't communicate to your leadership team, so that decision is not going to happen. Your supply chain will be hurting, suffering, will continue to suffer. Your supply chain will suffer. Eventually, the business will also suffer. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to invest some time here also to learn this communication skills, how we interact with the stakeholders, how we clearly communicate, how we influence. So communication is again a very, very, very important aspect. With all those data analysis, supply chain knowledge, business knowledge, industry knowledge, so everything would would fall short if this last lap of the marathon, which is communicating, if this is not done properly. This is something I would again prioritize. So to summarize, one is to develop early data science and AI skills. As a
Mm-hmm.
supply chain professional, don't shy away from coding, don't shy away from these things, though it's not so much of our domain. So for one reason for why I chose mechanical engineering, so this is something personal, because I hated coding. I didn't like the computers and this coding and everything. So I don't want to get into computer science, IT. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's go something purely into physics, maths, and machines. So I chose mechanical engineering. Then I get into supply chain, and again the AI comes, and I have to code.
Mm-hmm.
So the now it's no running away. Especially the mechanical engineers, there is no running away. There is no option now.
Yeah.
So we invest there in our even as a supply chain professional, we invest there. Secondly, to get wide exposure as much as possible in your early stage of the career,
Mm-hmm.
before settling down to a particular industry or particular role, move into different functions, interact with them, collaborate. Uh, lastly is to learn to communicate. So communication would be a very, it is still a very underrated skill in supply chain, but I would prioritize, yeah, certainly prioritize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could restart your career, would you do anything differently?
Yeah. So if one thing was, which I mentioned, that supply chain was not so popular at my time,
Mm-hmm.
and getting into supply chain, I was really thinking, rethinking my decision. Okay, whether I should get into supply chain or not. How is the scope of this? So if I go back, I would not delay so much of my decision making to get into supply chain. I would I would have accepted this a bit early. Um, and it was pretty obvious at that time because it was not so much popular, so I was slightly reluctant. That was one. Second is, which I gave just now as an advice, if I would have invested early into the data science and skill, the analytics skills, handling the big data, those kind of skills, the Power BI, Python, if I could have, started a bit early, 1 2 years early, into uh, such skills, that would I really regret at this time. Okay, that time would have been better that to invest in that. And thirdly is also delaying my learning,
Mm-hmm.
continuous learning in supply chain. So once you get into the job, the role, your everyday work, the continuous learning somehow is stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it quite late into my career, uh, that I should also be investing in learning. So once you are into the role, into the function, you can continue learning. So
Mm-hmm.
even after the college, there are certifications in supply chain like APICS, MITx. So
Mm-hmm.
I delayed a lot my APICS certification of CPIM. Um, I could have done almost a year earlier, but I delayed it. So this is something which I would also recommend uh, to the supply chain professionals, the students who would be listening to this, that continuous learning should also be part of this. I would really like to change my decision about delaying my
Mm-hmm.
continuous learning after getting into supply chain and getting so much into the daily work, the operations, and not prioritizing this.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with me today. I would truly appreciate your journey and what you told me today. It's a pleasure speaking with you. I hope to stay connected with you.
Same here. Thanks, Precious, for the opportunity, and hopefully, whatever experience I could share
Hmm.
would be helpful for the students who would be listening to this, and you would be further sharing. Again, thanks for the opportunity. Best of luck for you as a student of supply chain.
Hmm.
Let's stay connected. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.